What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Do you realize that 1 week from now, we'll be finishing up with the week number 1 will be in the books. We'll have Monday Night Football. That is, if you don't have DirecTV. DirecTV, who knows if they're going to get that all solved with ESPN and Disney and all that, because they're not on DirecTV. But everybody else who doesn't have DirecTV, you'll be able to see Monday Night Football. The Cowboys, the team is the team that we have. Win, lose, or draw. But a couple of things. I'm going to ask a real question here, because you haven't seen Jerry Jones since he was talking about the Dak Prescott contract. When people asked him, and his response was, you know, if you haven't seen it by now, you're not going to see it. Now, here's the reality. People are going to cut and paste things and take things out of context to try and get you to watch. It's like the thumbnails on videos and things. You want to get something that's eye-grabbing, you know, like if you're doing a video on YouTube Help, how to get 1,000 subscribers right now, things the small channels should do, or how to make, you know, $1 million in YouTube, a whole bunch of money. There are things to get you to watch. It doesn't mean that it's actually going to work, but there are reasons to get you to watch what they're doing. And that's the same thing with the context of Dak Prescott saying that, you know, I've learned not to listen to what Jerry Jones says. To the media. The key on there is to the media. If you take out to the media and you just say, I've learned to not listen to things Jerry Jones says, that sounds awful. It sounds like I don't give, you know, like there's a problem between the owner and I don't listen to anything he has to say. But we all could take a note of not listening to things Jerry Jones says in the media. Jerry Jones, 1 minute is saying, there's no rush to get CeeDee Lamb's contract done, and within a couple of days, it's done. And so when you hear Jerry Jones say, you know, it's not likely to get done, he's lowering the expectations for it. So if it doesn't get done, then it's kind of like, I kind of told you. But if he does get it done, it's going to be like, hey, they got this thing done. Way to go. It's finished. Well, that is if you're a Dak fan. If you're a Dak hater, then you're probably pissed off. But here's my thing. And I was talking about it with Game Time Brian on my live stream here. I honestly think there's been a major change at the Cowboys where Jerry Jones has grabbed back a lot more of the power. It was said that Jerry Jones had basically a succession plan that was kind of put in place where Stephen Jones had been taking care of more and more of the operation. And I'm going to say, I haven't seen Stephen Jones much over the last 2 weeks. In fact, I was looking for the last thing. The last video I could find of Stephen Jones was like 2 weeks ago. And this makes you wonder, is A, it's one of two things. Maybe Stephen Jones is in there working hard, hammering out a deal right now with Dak Prescott, and he's so busy that he can't be out in front of the media. Could be that. Or it could be, and we haven't seen Jerry since that thing, I think that was Thursday. And it's also a holiday weekend. But you're getting close to the nitty-gritty here. You haven't seen Jerry Jones either. To me, this is kind of saying, I think Jerry Jones is taking a harder role in everything that is the Cowboys right now. Now, I look at it like this. You've got the rumors of Bill Belichick being the coach next year. And maybe Mike McCarthy, you know, regardless of the Cowboys, you know, if they make the playoffs, like I think they will, that they look at and say it's time to move on, even though we kept Jason Garrett for 10 years. 10 years. And in those 10 years, how many times did we go to the playoffs? 3 times? Okay. Be that as it may. Be that as it may. Maybe he looks at it as Bill Belichick is the guy who could be like John Gruden taking over for Tony Dungy, the guy that can get the team over the hump. With Bill Belichick being 70 years old and making questionable calls the last few years, that he was with New England, I don't know that that's the guy that you want to be the head coach to rebuild. I also question that thought process because Bill Belichick is more of the defensive mind. He's more of the defensive leader. And you've already got Mike Zimmer, who seems to be entrenched very deep in the organization. Forgive me for yawning. So, who's your offensive coordinator? Who is going to run this offense? And who's going to be the quarterback? You don't bring Bill Belichick in and say, we don't have a quarterback. So to me, all roads point to, you got to sign Dak Prescott. And you certainly don't sign CeeDee Lamb and say, we're just going to get a new quarterback. Okay, now maybe Minnesota did that, but, you know, they drafted somebody who got injured. You looked at it and say they were trying to make a change and start all over. But all of this is just crazy. It's crazy that the Cowboys always wait to the last minute to do stuff. But it is the Cowboys' way. Now, as far as the team goes, you know, you have people that say, you know, well, you know, the Cowboys are in trouble in the offensive line. Think back to just 2 years ago when Tyron Smith, for those out there that say the Cowboys have questions on the offensive line, okay, think back to 2 years ago when we went without Tyron Smith except for about 4 games because he had his hamstring ripped off the bone. And we had a rookie who had been playing at guard through training camp, had to then switch to left tackle. And there was nothing but doom and gloom that was forecasted. Crazy thing is, that guy is now an all-pro guard. So who's to say that Cooper Beebe, who's shown some flashes, didn't look like he was scared or he was lost out there in preseason, and Tyler Guyton can't come out there and do a decent job and keep you in these games? So what I wanted you to understand is, and people will give me a hard way to go and say you're an idiot, you're stupid, or you said this or you said that. Understand, it doesn't matter if you're listening to me, to Game Time Brian, to DMV, to Vosh Lombardi, to Law Nations, to Foots the King, you know, the Landlord, okay, Big Game James, West Coast, or Dan Orlowski, or Mike Tenenbaum, or Bucky Brooks. It doesn't matter who you're listening to. When it comes to football, it's all your opinion. It's all your personal thoughts of what may happen. Nobody, and I mean nobody, knows what the hell is going to happen in a football season. Not unless it's the NFL that writes the script. But that's a different story, okay? That's not proving that they're scripted. You can think back to last year. Remember, let me just give you a little taste here. Remember last year when it was all about Dak Prescott's interceptions? And I remember Greg Jennings saying that he trusts Daniel Jones more than Dak Prescott. Tiki Barber literally said, I'm taking Daniel Jones 100 times out of 100 over Dak Prescott. That people thought that the Giants were going to leapfrog the Cowboys in the division. How'd that work out? One final note. Here's an interesting one. For about the last 10 years, Cowboys season openers, and it used to be with Jason Garrett. We broke through last year. When we win the first game of the season, the Cowboys end up missing the playoffs under Jason Garrett. But over the last 10 years, we haven't won season openers unless they've been against the Giants. Fun fact there. Kind of interesting to say the least. But since the Cowboys lost 5 games on the road last year, it would be nice to get the Cleveland Browns under their belt to start the season. That would go a long ways because of how tough this season is to start. We need to get a good start. And for the most part, I know we lost Bland for the next 4 to 6 weeks possibly. And we lost Sam Williams. But for the most part, this team is healthy and ready to go. We have questions on how is Diggs? Is he 100%? We don't know. Terrence Steele sounds like he's night and day different this year, strength-wise and trust-wise with his knee coming back from the ACL last year. And that's all you can hope for. So, good people, this is it. This is a game week. And I couldn't be happier. Let me say from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. And remember, tell the people you love how much you love them. Because you might not get the chance again. And I love you guys. And God willing, I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, by the way, nothing left to do but win the whole effing thing.